Hello, this is Doug Brunke of the Global Chamber, and I'm here with Lee Benson of Able Engineering, Able Aerospace, and Execute to Win. Lee, good morning.
Good morning.
Today we're going to talk a little bit more about your technology company because this is something that you've been working on to support your manufacturing company, and then at some point it actually became a product that you introduced outside the company. Could you tell us a little bit about that evolution relative to Execute to Win?
Yeah, sure. When we started out as an organization, we certainly got that we had to work incredibly hard, and then after a while, there's a little bit of dysfunction around how we accomplish things. It could be infighting, unhealthy political things that sort of come up, and so then we focused on having a very healthy company. And then we sort of evolved into we wanted to be a smart company. So we went from hardworking, then we added healthy, and then we added working smart by putting together very well-conceived strategic plans that we distilled out into an execution plan. And then the challenge as we went to, from 3 employees to 20 employees to 50 to 100 to 200 and climbing, is that how do we connect every single employee back to that strategy with the most important outcomes that they should be responsible for to affect that strategy in the best way that they can. And so we really struggled with that. We would hold a lot of meetings. Everybody would say, well, I completely understand. I'm going to go after it. I'm going to get it. And then we would find out a week later, a month later, or worse, a year later, they didn't get it, and we wasted a lot of time. So I started putting together a system that would essentially sort of automate all that and save a tremendous amount of time in our ability to actually execute on our strategy. And I got the idea to develop the system when I met Jack Welch for the first time about 7 years ago. And he was teaching a class to 100 business leaders, most of them managing over $1 billion in business. And the single biggest frustration in the room is that nobody had a way of connecting employees to strategy and culture that they were happy with. And we were struggling with it as well. So I left that meeting and I put together a dashboard and actually built out this software so we could connect every employee's most important outcomes directly to what we were trying to do as an organization through our strategy. And I sent the dashboard to Jack, and I said via email a couple months after that meeting, and I said, this is what I think will fully get at this problem that we brought up at the meeting. What do you think? And to my surprise, he responded the next day via email and said, this is better than anything I've ever seen or done. I said, great, thank you, we're going to start using it. And that evolved into an entirely robust business management operating system, almost like ERP for people. It's high level for every level in the organization. I can see every one of our close to 500 employees, exactly what they're doing, where they're at on it, 100% of the time with incredible transparency, just a couple of clicks away from making that happen. And over time, we got so much attention around this particular system. And by the way, I started a software company called Able Systems and Technology in 1999. And that was to develop our own internal ERP system because I couldn't find anything out there flexible enough. So we decided to build our own. And it's worked beautifully to this point. So we had some experience with software development. But we got so much sort of interest in what we were doing with this operating system, we decided to productize it. And I went to Jack in late 2011, and I showed him the system, and we spent 9.5 hours going through it. And at the end, he pushed away and he said, "This is the best business management operating system I've ever seen. It connects every employee to strategy and culture with," in his words, "the transparency is scary in the system and how much you can see and how quickly you can see it." Because most organizations don't do that, but in my view, it sets up this winning team environment like nothing else in any other organization that I've ever seen. So at that particular point in time, after he said that, he asked me the question, what can I do to help? This is exactly what I want to get involved in as I'm going forward. And I said, look, if you're willing to open some doors for us, I would love to have you in as a partner. We'll give you a significant part of the business. And he's been a very active, very helpful partner over the years.
So ultimately, the value of the system is what sells it. But certainly having Jack Welch give such a glowing testimonial and to have used it, it's got to help with your national and your international growth.
Yeah, it is helping. When you think about something like this, changing fundamentally how an organization works, I believe that all companies, whether it's very formal or informal, doing this stuff anyway. They meet, they talk about what they're going to do for the next year, the next month, whatever that interval is, and then they try to actually go out there and do it. And the problem is, it's not a living, breathing execution plan. It's not truly connecting every single employee in the organization to culture and strategy. And with that, they get mixed results. In fact, there are a lot of surveys out there that say that up to 90% of what is in an execution plan is not fully executed, with over probably 80% of the businesses out there. This is a really big problem, execution. What we do is make it incredibly efficient with this system. In fact, for me, just one small example, it eliminates about 3,000 plus emails a month internally that I used to get from my team. Now I get a stream when I log into my system, which I log in several times a day, and in chronological order it tells me everything that I wanted to see from my direct reports, everything from our strategy that we have in the system, and in that 20 minutes a day that I review and respond to it, I couldn't have gotten that much information in 2 days 10 years ago if I tried. So it allows me to run much more successfully 3 different businesses and stay on top of all of this.
So with your other businesses that have been in aerospace, and you basically migrated to where planes are, which becomes relatively easy to determine where those markets are. Here you've got a product that essentially any company in the world could benefit from. So how have you approached ETW on the global market? How have you prioritized the markets in this particular case as you've thought about growing, not just in the U.S., but around the world?
Sure. We're only a couple of years into selling this. We've got about 100 clients using it. The largest client rolling in right now has about 21,000 employees. We decided to focus mostly domestically to get our base in place. And at the same time, we wanted to make sure that the system would work globally. So we actually have deployments in, I believe it's 8 different countries. The very first one that we did was in the Czech Republic. I flew out and did it myself. But I thought it was really important that we make sure we get all of the translations correctly, that the system is working that way. It'll work all over the world and how we deploy it in the cloud. It's a SaaS-based tool. We primarily use the Amazon Web Services for that. It's working fantastic, and we do have it deployed in a couple of areas in the world. We have a deployment in Norway and a number of other countries out there right now. But that was primarily at this stage to make sure that it works through the translations and anything else that might come up that we thought we knew but probably didn't know, and we did learn a lot through that process. And I can see over the next 3 to 5 years that the global piece will probably be the biggest part of what we're doing with the tool.
How would you advise other tech companies with software product that has value for other companies and can be companies around the world in terms of how they approach the market? Do you suggest a similar type of approach where you make sure that you hit the ground running before you head across a border, or is it very business specific? How would you suggest other companies approach their technology expansion?
Sure. And my advice is really more from a startup to about 3 years into it, and just again making sure you have a very well conceived strategy, that you're constantly iterating and improving every single day, every week, every month. You want to be constantly guiding the ship in the right direction. So it is going to be specific by product that you have. We have a very prescriptive product to run a company a particular way. Some of our competitors out there will come in and mix and match whatever you want to run your business. So it's really all over the place. But in terms of success, it comes down to, do you have a well-conceived strategy? Did you convert that into an execution plan? Have you connected all the employees to it? Are you always looking forward at what are going to be the bigger issues with deploying the tool? There's things that we look at virtually daily to make sure that we're going to get ahead of any potential issues with larger and larger deployments. Right now we have thousands of employees in this, but our goal over the next 10 years is to have millions of employees in it. So what are the scalability problems going to be, et cetera?
You've taken really a system that helped you be successful in the Able companies and taken and made that into a product. So you found an opportunity where a lot of companies might not see it. So congratulations on that success. Congratulations to get into the technology world, and congratulations overall on your success exporting from here in the U.S.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for your time, Lee.
Great to be here.